Previously, Shen had outbid the ranger for the ring at the auction house. Afterward, the lady selling the ring had expressed her desire to follow him, but just as things were settling, an old man appeared, trying to sell some items. Shen, not interested, had dismissed the items as trash. The old man, enraged by the insult, was about to react, but he quickly sensed Shen's killing intent. Now to this week's chapter. Then she called out, stating that she had already said no and questioned why the old man kept pestering him. With a wink, she reminded him of the consequences of making private deals in this place. She pointed to a muscular bunny in the back, explaining that the security bunny had been observing the situation for some time. The old man locked eyes with the bunny, who returned a hard, unwavering stare. The old man understood it was not worth causing trouble here, as this place was valuable for making money. Frustrated, he walked off, muttering that Shen was a fool for not recognizing how great his items were. Watching him leave, Shen considered how different things might have been outside the auction house. Here, strict rules against fighting meant a ban for violators, but out in the monster field, he would have already sent the old man straight to the respawn point. He turned back to her and remarked that since she belonged to him for the night, did that mean she would do whatever he wanted during that time? Embarrassed, she covered her face and questioned if he really needed to ask, before stating firmly that she would definitely do as he wished. He smiled and thanked her, then explained that all she needed to do was help him keep watch for a while. He mentioned that he had 3 silver weapons for sale, which she could assist with as well. However, he added that if any refining chips appeared, she should buy them all without hesitation. To make things easier, he said he would give her some gold upfront. She looked confused and asked if all he wanted her to do was sell some items and buy a few chips. He smiled and confirmed, adding that with her attractive figure, she could secure an excellent price for his weapons. He also pointed out that with her charm, no one would dare bid against her for the chips. Hearing this, she felt a bit sad and thought about her reputation as the moonlight figure, known as one of the most admired women around. She questioned whether he truly wanted her to do such tasks. Reluctantly, she stated that she didn't want to go through with it. However, Shen reassured her, promising to pay extra for her trouble once the job was done. Her mood brightened at the mention of extra payment, and she eagerly asked where she could find him once everything was completed. But he turned away and began walking off, casually stating that she didn't need to worry about finding him. He would find her later. She blushed as she watched him leave, softly commenting to herself that Shen wasn't just confident and handsome, but also very rich. Meanwhile, as he walked, Shen's thoughts turned to the refining chip. He understood it was a crucial material for unlocking hidden items after reaching Roy City. He recalled that its drop rate was very low, yet many players sold it cheaply before advancing to the second map, unaware of its significant impact later in the game. Glancing down at his arm, he reminded himself that the final step to prepare was upgrading his gear. A few minutes later, Shen finally reached his destination. Inside the blacksmith's shop, the blacksmith was pacing frantically, his hands on his head as he sat down, still stressed. He muttered to himself, questioning where his hammer had disappeared to and how he was going to make a living without it. Just then, Shen called out, catching his attention. Shen was holding a massive hammer and asked if the blacksmith was looking for this. The blacksmith's face lit up with happiness as he eagerly asked where Shen had found the hammer. Shen explained that he happened to come across it in the wolves' forest and handed it over. The blacksmith lifted the hammer into the air, and a golden glow surrounded it. With a wide smile, he thanked Shen profusely for finding it. Shen smiled and reassured the blacksmith that it was no trouble, stating that returning the hammer was the right thing to do. The blacksmith, however, insisted that he would upgrade any gear Shen had for free as a way of thanking him. Shen opened his item box, thinking this was likely a hidden quest. He had only discovered it after watching a strategy guide that explained how a mysterious blacksmith shop would offer a free upgrade once you return the hammer. To activate the hidden quest, he had to make sure to mention that returning the hammer was the right thing to do. As he thought about it, Shen realized the best part of this was that not only did the blacksmith offer upgrades, but he also sold low-level materials, making this a valuable opportunity for Shen. Shen pulled out his weapon, smiling at the blacksmith, and asked if he could help max it out for him. He thought about how this would save him the trouble of grinding low-level monsters for materials, making it the perfect opportunity. The blacksmith grinned, stating that it would be easy, and immediately took the weapon from Shen, starting the upgrade process right away. Time passed, and Shen was examining his items, deciding which one to upgrade next. Just then, he heard a voice. It was the blacksmith, who called him brother and announced that his weapon was completed. Shen was surprised at how quickly it had been finished. He thought about the time it took and guessed it had only been around 20 minutes. Shen complimented the blacksmith, stating that he was really fast, and asked if he could have a look at the weapon. Shen held the weapon, feeling its weight, as the blacksmith explained that he could only upgrade it to level 10 for now, as he didn't have any higher level materials yet. He added that if he hadn't done it for free, it would normally cost 20 gold. Shen was amazed by the improvement and commented that the weapon felt much better than before. Shen put the newly upgraded weapon away, commenting that it was more than enough for him at this time. He reassured the blacksmith not to worry, saying he would change his weapon later on. The blacksmith nodded, expressing that he looked forward to Shen's next visit for a new weapon, and bid him farewell. A few minutes later, Shen walked back toward the auction house. As he walked, he thought about Roy City and the level 20 requirement. He recalled that the bosses there were around level 60, realizing that fighting such a boss would be tricky. He decided it would be best to wait for his evolution skill to come off cooldown before heading there, knowing it wouldn't be long before it was ready. He agreed that waiting for his evolution skill to come off cooldown was the best course of action for now, but suddenly, he felt something was off. A shadowy figure, hidden in the darkness, was drawing an arrow and preparing to fire. The person in the shadows unleashed the arrow skill, and it sped toward Shen with incredible power. Unaware of the danger at first, Shen only felt the shift in the air at the last moment. He quickly noticed the arrow and barely managed to avoid it, feeling it graze his face. Shocked, Shen wondered why someone would attack him out of the blue. Shen quickly looked over and saw the arrow lodge into a tree. He realized that if he hadn't moved just in time, he would have either been sent to the respawn point or seriously injured. The arrow, aimed directly at his head, would have dealt massive surprise attack damage and weak spot damage, leaving him vulnerable. His heart raced as he processed how close he had come to danger. Just then, a voice came from the shadows, complimenting Shen on his skill. As Shen focused on the voice, it sounded familiar. Suddenly, the figure stepped out from the darkness with a smile. It was the ranger from the auction house. The ranger grinned and said he didn't expect Shen to be able to dodge his ambush arrow. Shen remained calm and questioned if the ranger wasn't the one who had lost to him back at the auction house. He explained that there must be a misunderstanding, as he wasn't interested in the woman at all, he just wanted the item she had. The ranger, however, shook his head, saying it was too late for that now. He then questioned what Shen meant by misunderstanding. Shen, still composed, asked if he wasn't after the woman, then what did he want with him? The ranger smirked, saying Shen would find out soon enough. He glanced over his shoulder and made a sound, signaling to others. Suddenly, 3 more players emerged from the shadows, catching Shen's attention. As he studied them, he noticed that one of them, a person in a hood, looked strangely familiar. Just as he was about to process this, he froze in confusion. Standing among them was someone he definitely didn't expect to see. Shen's heart sank as he saw the larger player holding the lady from the auction house, her face streaked with tears of fear. The player gripped her by her hair, and the other player standing next to them simply smiled, watching Shen intently. The sight left Shen stunned, realizing that the situation was much more dangerous than he had anticipated. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and like. It really helps me out.